Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. 1923 Season 2 already sets up how Timothy Dalton's villain will lose. Timothy Dalton plays a major villain in the Yellowstone prequel 1923, and Season 2's most recent episode offered a glimpse at his inevitable downfall. Dalton's Donald Whitfield is an integral part of 1923's cast, representing the first in a long line of antagonists who will target the Dalton Ranch through legal and financial means, aside from just violence. Banner Creighton, Jerome Flynn, represents the old-fashioned sort of villain who would have killed Jacob Dalton and everyone else out of hatred, even if it meant ending up in jail. 1923 Season 2 story is essentially just a continuation of everything that transpired in Season 1, with the situation more dire than ever for the Daltons. With limited influence and numbers to defend the ranch, Donald Whitfield looks to have a clear-cut path to victory. Spencer Dalton is making his way to Montana to bring aid to his family, but he still has a long journey ahead of him. Meanwhile, the Daltons are struggling to survive against the harsh winter and predator animals, meaning they could need help from a surprising ally. For the most part, in Season 1, Banner Creighton seemed to be all in on supporting Donald Whitfield, as it offered him a surefire path to his revenge. However, it looks like he believed that it would be a temporary arrangement, and he's now involved with a man he doesn't necessarily trust or understand. Season 2 has already shown him having second thoughts about Whitfield, particularly in a scene in the season's second episode where he speaks with his wife, a new character on the show. 1923 Season 2 appears to be laying the foundation for a betrayal, with Banner Creighton realizing what he's unleashed upon the valley. The scenes with the escorts in Season 1 are indicative of the differences between these men, and even Banner won't want to be Whitfield's goon for the rest of his life. Banner has harbored reservations for Whitfield, and now he's admitted that he's scared of the man. It will be interesting to see what his breaking point is that turns that fear into desperation, causing him to backstab his ally. Banner Creighton hates the Dalton family, and even if he helps them by killing Donald Whitfield, he won't become their buddy. He and Jacob Dalton have a blood feud that's bound to end in one of their deaths, so it feels unlikely that Banner Creighton will end up surviving the show. They'll likely do some serious damage before he's killed, but we obviously know from Yellowstone that the Daltons still own the ranch a century later, meaning they'll defeat their enemies in 1923. As the dust settles over the Montana plains and the tangled web of the Dalton family struggles continues to unravel, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Timothy Dalton's villainous Donald Whitfield is playing a high-stakes game he's destined to lose. In the highly anticipated second season of 1923, the Yellowstone prequel has already laid the groundwork for Whitfield's downfall, and the signs are as clear as the icy rivers cutting through the rugged frontier. His loss is inevitable, not just because of the classic narrative arc that ensures villains receive their comeuppance, but because of the very world he's trying to manipulate. The arrogance of wealth and power. From the moment Donald Whitfield was introduced in 1923, his presence was commanding. A ruthless tycoon with a penchant for dominance, Whitfield represents the creeping industrialization and corporate greed that threaten to engulf the American West. He's a man of excess, possessing not only immense wealth, but also an unwavering belief that money can buy anything, including power, land, and even people. But what he fails to grasp is that in the Yellowstone universe, land isn't just property, it's heritage. The Daltons have built their dynasty on resilience and an unbreakable connection to the land they call home. Whitfield, in his hubris, underestimates this connection, believing his financial might is enough to crush their will. That miscalculation alone is enough to set him on a path toward failure. Jack Dalton's rise to power. One of the clearest indicators of Whitfield's inevitable defeat is Jack Dalton's evolution. Throughout the first season, Jack was portrayed as a young man still coming into his own. He suffered devastating losses and witnessed firsthand the brutal nature of those seeking to strip his family of their legacy. But the second season is shaping up to be Jack's turning point, his moment to step up as a formidable protector of the Yellowstone ranch. Jack has every reason to seek vengeance. His hatred for Whitfield has been forged in fire, and he has already demonstrated the kind of relentless spirit that defines a true Dutton. By the time the second season reaches its climax, it's likely Jack will be at the forefront of the battle against Whitfield, utilizing the Dutton family's sheer tenacity to strike a fatal blow against the businessman's ambitions. Banner Creighton's shaky alliance. While Whitfield may have secured the loyalty of Banner Creighton, the Scottish sheepherder-turned-gunman, this alliance is built on little more than convenience. Creighton is a survivor, not a loyalist. His allegiance to Whitfield is not rooted in admiration or ideology, but rather in necessity. He saw an opportunity to align with a man of influence, but the moment that alliance no longer serves him, he'll turn. Whitfield's fatal flaw is assuming that men like Creighton can be controlled indefinitely. If Creighton sees a way to save himself by betraying Whitfield, he will take it without hesitation. Whitfield has surrounded himself with people who serve their own interests, making it only a matter of time before the knife in his back comes from someone he once trusted. The power of the Dutton women. If history has taught us anything about the Dutton family, it's that their women are just as fierce and cunning as their men. Cara Dutton, played by Helen Mirren, has already proven herself to be a formidable force in Season 1. Her calculated strategies and unwavering resolve make her a silent architect of the Dutton's survival. Meanwhile, Elizabeth Strafford, Jack's wife, is coming into her own as a force to be reckoned with. The second season will likely explore how these women play an instrumental role in toppling Whitfield's empire. Cara's ability to navigate the intricate social and political landscapes of Montana gives the Duttons a weapon Whitfield does not possess: genuine, unwavering alliances. While he manipulates through fear and bribery, she builds relationships based on trust and loyalty. That alone may prove to be his undoing. The government's role in his fall. Another looming factor in Whitfield's downfall is the shifting political climate. While men like him thrive in the shadows, exploiting legal loopholes and bending the law to their will, there comes a point when the weight of their corruption becomes too heavy to ignore. Montana is changing, and not everyone is willing to let Whitfield run unchecked. With governmental figures taking notice of his dealings, it's only a matter of time before his empire begins to crumble under legal scrutiny. Perhaps a political rival will emerge, or maybe even a former ally will turn witness against him. Either way, Whitfield is playing a dangerous game with too many variables beyond his control. The Duttons' unbreakable will. Above all, the strongest indicator of Whitfield's eventual defeat is the unbreakable will of the Dutton family. Generations of hardship have forged them into warriors, and while they suffer losses, they do not fall. 1923 is not just about their struggles, it's about their resilience, their fight for survival, and their refusal to surrender. Whitfield may believe himself untouchable, but his arrogance blinds him to the truth. The Duttons have faced worse, and they have always prevailed. As 1923 Season 2 continues to build toward its inevitable showdown, the writing is already on the wall for Timothy Dalton's formidable villain. Whether by betrayal, political intervention, or sheer Dutton tenacity, Donald Whitfield's reign is doomed to be short-lived. And when he finally falls, it will serve as yet another testament to the enduring legacy of the Yellowstone Ranch and the family willing to fight for it at all costs.